Hi everyone, welcome to Emposia Book Club. My name is Hayley. Today I'm going to be telling you about TV shows and movies you should watch if you loved these 5 books. Let's get started. Alright, so first up I have Crier's War by Nina Varela. This book is a sapphic enemies to lovers kind of dystopian sci-fi book about this human girl who plans on killing the princess of the androids because the androids have kind of taken over her world and are starting to oppress the humans, and so she's really sick of it and she's like, no, we're gonna obliterate you. She comes up with this plan to get close to the princess and kill her. Things get complicated when even more complex feelings arise. So it's just about these two sapphics going head to head against each other. If you loved Crier's War, the perfect show for you to watch is called Killing Eve. This show basically follows these two women. One is a spy and one is an assassin slash killer. And they're kind of like obsessed with each other and kind of caught in this like cat and mouse game, like taking different jabs at each other, trying to take each other down. This one is also for the sapphics. If you're really into sapphic enemies to lovers and, you know, a bit of violence and intrigue, then at 10 out of 10, recommend Killing Eve. All right, so the next book I have is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is a fantasy book inspired by West African mythology, and the world building is so rich and so powerful. This also has enemies to lovers, and the main story follows a group of people that must come together. They're not exactly on the best terms. They're not all friendly with each other. They must all come together and go on this journey in order to restore magic to their world and save their people and their world. I believe that the perfect TV show for you to watch if you love this book is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know that the author was actually inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm pretty sure she's like a huge fan of that show. This book gives me huge Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes, specifically because it's about a group of people kind of, you know, becoming found family and finding friendship and love with each other and going on this journey to grow, develop their powers, and save the world. That's exactly what Avatar: The Last Airbender is. And like, it's just the cutest little group of friends all needing to work together, sometimes even having to work with the villain to, you know, defeat a greater evil. 10 out of 10 recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender if you love Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. The next book that I have is No Exit by Taylor Adams, and this is a thriller. This book follows a girl who gets trapped at a rest stop during a blizzard, and she discovers that this child has been kidnapped and locked in a stranger's van. And in an attempt to save the child, she gets caught up in this really dangerous game of trying to outwit this psychopath. And it's super intense, super fast paced. Obviously, I had to recommend some good thrillers for this book. The movies that I recommend if you love No Exit are Kidnap and The Call, both starring Halle Berry. So The Call basically follows this woman who is this 911 phone operator. She receives this call that goes horribly wrong for the victim on the other end, and she decides to step in, like literally step away from the phone and like try and go rescue this woman. Then in the movie Kidnap, this woman goes after these people that abducted her child, and it's super intense, super fast paced. I definitely think that these movies match the vibe of No Exit. If you're into people literally doing whatever it takes to save the ones they love, definitely watch these movies if you loved No Exit. The next book I have is Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. This book is very intense, and I feel like if you like this book, you might have very particular taste. As someone who is a fan of psychological thrillers, I got you. Pretty Girls follows these two sisters who have grown estranged ever since their oldest sister went missing, and they never got closure. They never found out what happened to her. But many years later, they are brought back together when another woman goes missing, and they believe that her case might be linked to their oldest sister, who they never found out what happened to her. So they come together and they get involved in this really dangerous, disturbing mystery in an attempt to find out what's happening to these missing women and an attempt to find closure for their oldest sister. This book is really intense and really graphic. I knew I had to think of a very thrilling, intense movie that would match the vibes of this, and I think I have the perfect one, and that movie is Don't Breathe. Now, this movie is honestly one of my favorite movies of all time. It follows this group of young adults slash teenagers who really need money, and so they decide that they're going to rob this man who is a blind veteran, and they think that he's going to be like an easy target. They can just take his money and go. But no. They make some really shocking discoveries, and then they get trapped in his house and end up having to fight for their lives. So it's a very intense movie. So yeah, if you loved Pretty Girls, then I really recommend Don't Breathe. The last book that I have for you, if you love Six of Crows, which of course is one of the most popular YA fantasy books out there. It is a magical heist that has an amazing group of teenagers coming together, setting aside their differences, and using their criminal knowledge and history in order to pull off this crazy magical heist. This is one of my favorite books. If you love this book, then you will love Money Heist. This is, I believe it's a Netflix original, so if you have Netflix, you should watch it. This show is basically just about this criminal mastermind called the Professor, who pulls together a group of people to steal an insane amount of money. He wants to print €1 billion from the Royal Mint of Spain. So he recruits a team of 8 people who have nothing to lose, and things get very, very intense. I am still in the middle of watching this show, but I just had to recommend a heist show if you loved a heist book. Like, it goes hand in hand. Money Heist doesn't have magic in it, but I feel like they match the intensity of Six of Crows. So if you enjoyed Six of Crows, you will enjoy Money Heist. Those are all the recommendations I have today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like this video, comment down below if any of these books are interesting to you or if any of these shows are interesting to you. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to Emposia, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye.